Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another installment of Fishy Film Fridays in our Lenten uh, publishing push. We're happy that you're all here with us today to discuss. I don't even know what year this movie came out. Anyone know what year this movie came out?
1974.
1974's The Conversation by Francis Ford Coppola and starring Gene Hackman. Rest in peace. We obviously picked this movie because of his death, and it's very sketchy. Speaking of sketchy things, Tim, how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm doing well. I'm really excited to log in and keep my ears open because you never know what you might hear.
So true.
It's
Open that
not gonna
third
be
eye.
hard. Yeah, not gonna be hard keeping those ears open.
Yeah, they are big. Uh, yeah, it is interesting. We watched this movie like a day or two after the JFK files got released. I thought that was also interesting timing.
Mm.
Oh,
And also, we are joined by Jay Red, who likely will someday become a Lee Harvey Oswald type. How you doing, Jay Red?
I do like working at book depositories, and there's a chance I'm gonna have to get a mail order Russian bride at one point or another in my life.
Wait, you
Lee's
didn't
also a
already get
veteran.
that?
I guess it's kind of like a version, just Amish country type of it. Hopefully the in-laws never listen to this podcast. But yeah, good. I am mourning. No, yeah, the loss of the great Gene Hackman.
oh,
Crimson Tide is one of my favorite movies, but actually one of my more favorite Gene Hackman movies is Welcome to Mooseport with Ray Romano.
I don't know that one.
I
It
personally
was a
like The French Connection might be my favorite.
that is a great one, but the Welcome to Mooseport was his last film.
Oh.
Yeah.
Joey's always a fan of the worst movie possible, as evidenced by our
It is
last
bad.
episode. But
Mr. 3000?
no, I forgot. I meant Mamma
Yep.
Mia.
Oh, Mamma Mia! You forget.
Okay, so we're back with another one. I don't remember. I already forgot the year that this came out, 72.
74.
And we're gonna talk about it. Here we go. Let's ride.
Dude, you're really good at like
He's
impromptu
going on
public speaking.
autopilot.
So the movie begins with well, actually, first, anyone seen this movie before?
Yeah, I watched
No.
this in a film class.
And
Oh.
Jared, you had never seen it before.
Nah, I was not aware of it. I know the French Connection. This one somehow slipped my under my radar for years.
And Tim, when you watched it, so here's the thing. I was watching this and I was like, have I seen this before? And I kept having that moment. And so, Tim, do you think we watched it in a class together that we were in, or do you think
I
maybe
don't
I watched it
know.
with you as a homework assignment, or maybe I was just in your room not paying attention while you were watching it or something?
I don't think so. I think I don't. It was in the theater or whatever at school,
Oh,
but I don't
really?
remember if you. I don't remember if you were next to me though.
I'm wondering if I was next to you. Because, like, I was like, have I seen this before? Like, all the time. Did you like it the first time
Really?
you watched it?
I did, but I remember after the first time, I had no idea what was going on, and I think it was because I was smoking too much reefer back then.
Yeah,
It's
so
not
I'm
good for you,
thinking that
dude.
maybe we were together for this. Maybe it was like the film history since 1945 class or something.
Yeah, I think because it's that definitely tracks.
Okay, interesting. Well, we'll
I'll have
probably
to
never
ask
know.
profess. I'll have to ask prof.
Yeah, we'll have to email him. Cool. Yeah. So the movie stars Gene Hackman. How do we feel about his death, everyone?
I didn't know he was sick.
Yeah, they kept
Yeah, I
that
didn't know he
under
was
the
sick
radar
either.
for a while. It's unfortunate, but that's part of life, and it is sad that no one really knew about it for a whole week. That means he really was kind of alone with just him and his wife.
If only
Yeah,
they
and
had
his wife
some.
had rodent
If only they
disease.
had some recording devices in there to keep them
That is so
surveilled.
true. If
Someone
only he
needed to
could
be
set it
surveying
up.
him.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
feel bad for the dog. I feel bad for Gene's dog.
So
Yeah.
here's something. How did the other two dogs survive?
The other two
By
dogs weren't
eating.
locked in the pen.
Okay, so the dog that died was
Was
locked in
in
the
a
pen.
crate.
Oh,
and it had just had
but
surgery, which is why they think it was in the crate.
okay, okay. I was like, why? Like, imagine like you had an accident and you're in the crate, and that caused your death as a dog.
Oh
I
my,
wonder how. Yeah, I wonder what those other dogs did for the whole week. Did they? Do you
yeah,
think they
and
ate them?
they had to watch the other dog die in the crate.
Yeah, they were probably one like trying to help, I imagine.
They probably ate the
Could
garbage or something, like,
yeah, dogs can survive a while.
Yeah, I think they
except
said
if you're in the crate.
dehydration was like kind of the bigger problem for the dog.
I'm gonna see what Gene Hackman's dog breeds.
They were apparently very nice dogs. Apparently, that was like the only thing that he cared about was his dogs.
There were probably Dobermans, like in the film. Did you see the Doberman?
Oh, dude, the Doberman. I like that. That was a good Doberman.
That
Well,
Doberman
throwback.
snuck in.
Yes, it did.
It almost got by. Oh, these are good looking dogs.
That was a good
One's like
throwback to our earlier episode called
the last
La
Boy
Last Boy
Scout.
Scout,
Yeah,
the
we had
Doberman stuff.
Dobermans, and
Yes,
they
Jared
did
was very
bad
strong.
things to Doberman.
Okay, well,
That felt like
so
years ago.
what?
No, go ahead.
It was almost a year ago. Good job.
Nice. Okay, so the movie begins with a scene of two people walking in a park. They're walking in
Oof,
circles.
his wife was a dog. Ugh.
Dude, you
She
can't
was
say
a
that about
classically
people that
trained
are.
pianist.
She
She's
had a
Asian too.
penis.
Yeah, she was a lady boy.
Oh,
I love the first shot of the film. It's so good. That first scene's amazing.
Where they're walking around and you see multiple people trying to listen in on conversation. They're walking in and around this crowd. There's drumming going on. Um, there's
The
you
like
don't
some
know
use of
what to
sound,
think.
jazz.
the
Yeah, and then
use of
there's
sound
weird
is just
sounds.
incredible.
Yeah.
It's just incredible how, and then as the screen goes on, you hear like little glimpses of conversations. You're like, you're not even sure what you're really supposed to be paying attention to.
No, exactly. And you're like not
It's
sure why they're being surveilled or like if they're being surveilled because they're using the crosshairs of these like devices
sniper sound guns.
to like match the lips up and shit. And so you think that they're about to get shot, but really they're just listening.
It's
And then they're like,
triangulation.
yeah, and then there's like a van going on, and there's like people in the crowd, and you're like, are they
There's a
spying on them
mime.
or not? Yeah,
I
the
like the
mime is
mime.
cool.
That
Mime is
was
cool.
badass.
Do you think the mime was a plant
Yeah.
Yes.
to spy on Gene Hackman? Maybe.
No,
Oh,
no, the mime was part of their sting.
yeah, I thought the mime was part of this thing.
Yeah, and you catch up on that later on, where like the mime continuously gets close, and that's like
Yes.
some of their just like the other dude who like had a hearing aid, but it was really just a headphone.
Oh yeah.
It makes me wonder though, like, how often have you had a weird thing like that happen in your life?
A mime.
No, yeah, like you're like walking through a park and like some like street performer gives you a little bit too much attention. Like we could all
So,
easily be having this shit happen to
so
us all the
you know
time.
you know what made me think of it? Like what could easily do this, and I would never know the difference. Um, this happens when you're like traveling in Paris or any major city, I guess even in New York, and you get like the street vendors just trying to sell you some random bullshit or junk. That would have been the perfect person to like be the stage person, like individual,
Right.
because
Or
they
like
can
how
just
psychic readers are often like stealing your credit card information because they have like devices to read your cards.
didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, don't get your
Jeez.
don't get your thing read.
They
Yeah.
they got psychics in your neighborhood, or are you thinking of like New Orleans?
No, we have psychics in Philly. Oh, dox myself. Um,
I'm just thinking like this wouldn't really happen now though, because it's like everybody's got a microphone on them. Like we're probably all
Yeah,
hacked, bro.
I
you
was
They
stole
can
my
thinking.
already
talking
hear
point.
you.
I'm actually pretty mad. I was gonna say that for later.
Oh wow, that sounded like such an original thought, Danny.
I mean, yeah, it's
Damn,
not that crazy.
fuck.
No, I think there's
I
a lot to be said about that actually. Maybe we'll come back to it.
well, I wish I had a sniper's sound gun. That thing looked cool.
Looked pretty badass.
Yeah, there's
I
like it's
can't believe.
interesting like to think about like this is how we used to have to do that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Y-
when this
Like
came
it used
out,
to be
this
a
came
lot
out.
harder to spy on people.
I think this movie was very sexy when it came out because it came out during like the whole precipice of like Watergate breaking,
Of course.
Yes.
and that like even they mentioned his rival spy Murray or whatever his name was,
Yep.
um, like spied no Moran.
Yeah.
He like spied for a presidential candidate or something like that.
Yep.
And this is, we lost a lot of trust in the American public. Here's a question I got. Like, out of all of our spying capabilities now, like, how have they not been able to get like even more incriminating stuff on like candidates? Like, I know we got like the Trump like grab him right by the pussy video, but like there just had been so many worse things said. And I don't know if people would care or not, but like, come on.
I think that like
They all get blackmailed, right?
yeah,
And
you
that's why
hush money.
they're
You do
evil.
hush money.
Is it how what's the size of the blackmail?
What do you mean?
Oh, that was a
Oh, I
callback to
get it.
John.
A
Oh my,
big blackmail.
oh
You
my
guys have
god.
good memories.
This is the most brain dead episode we've had so far. Jeez.
It's funny.
Oh, oh, the
So yeah,
Lord
it's a
save
movie about
us.
surveillance, and we begin with a scene of surveillance undergoing. And then what happens next? I actually don't remember. We cut to his he goes to his apartment and it's his birthday and he like gets mad because his landlady has been chilling out in his apartment and reading his mail and shit like that. Remember that?
Gave him a
Well,
bottle of wine or something.
Yeah, and it's his birthday. He's a jazz fan. The music in this film is great.
Oh,
he's
dude,
playing jazz.
Gene Hackman playing saxophone. That looked like the best like thing ever. If I was a man living alone, that would be a great hobby to pick up.
Well,
Danny,
so,
do you have an instrument you play?
I don't. But it is interesting, like what you just said about him looking cool there. Like Hackman is kind of like he's sort of an atypical leading man in many ways, which I think is why perhaps we're hit so hard by his loss, is he's like not the most handsome guy in the world, and yet he plays these roles that are like he makes
Yeah,
he like really looks cool. Like he's like the coolest
Absolutely.
guy.
It's kind of Hackman's story. If you ever read his bio or his biography on Wikipedia, the dude was a Marine. Kind of just struggled acting. Everyone made fun of him for doing it. Really struggled. He had a former Marine sergeant see him working as a doorman who made fun of him. He had people who, the other
Jared
people who
always
like
seems like he's
saw it.
trying not to burp.
I had a burp there. Sorry, I burped. I had a hiccup burp. Um, yeah, people saw him working these dead end jobs while he was trying to support himself being an actor, and he kept the perseverance. Which the Hackman himself is one of the few that can really pursue with that. He actually lived with Dustin Hoffman and Robert Duvall at one point.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
um,
he looks very cool when he's doing that saxophone, even though he's not like sexy or ripped or anything like that. Yeah.
I feel like any of
Losing
us
his
could
hair a
feel
little
ourselves
bit.
being a Hackman.
What?
Yeah, any of us could see ourselves as a Hackman, and that's I think why
Why do
people
you keep
like him.
saying his name like that?
The Hackman, that's his nickname.
But you
that
don't have to
was his
call
name.
him Hackman instead of his name.
The Hack. That's people love him by that. That's like known since the 70s.
Oh yeah.
But the 70s, we also need to remember the 70s were weird where people were just uglier back then.
Yeah, people
Maybe.
like we're all close to 30. These people are like aged to be in their 30s, and they look like they're our parents in their 60s currently.
Well, no, Gene's 42.
Oh yeah, he did say that. Still looks terrible.
No, he's 44.
He
Oh, I
lied. He
could.
did say he was 42 in another scene though.
Yes, he lies to someone else.
Oh,
And he's got
good
this
reminder.
like lady who's like, is she a prostitute that he hangs out with at the beginning of the film?
I thought she was a hooker at first. No, I
I don't
think
think so, though. I think it's like some lady that really is infatuated with him.
casual San Fran hookups, man.
Yeah, it's weird
But
that
I
it's
thought
in San Francisco.
there's that
Which
interesting part where after they hook up and she's like, "Oh, I hear you put the key in the door slowly, and then you fly it open like you're trying to catch me or something." It's like you can really get this man's a little neurotic, you know.
Yes, highly neurotic.
I really think he connects a lot with you, Danny, in like the paranoia and like the weird extra precautions he takes.
Yeah, I
Like,
think that's
okay,
possible.
how many locks do you have on your door?
Too.
Yeah, that's just because you can't afford more right now. If you had more access to liquidity, you would have as many as the Hackman.
Jared only has his money, John, so just let him hold on to that. Um,
He needs to get some new headphones though. He's wearing wired Air Apple headphones right now.
I'm okay with them.
um,
I'm
and
okay with
then
them.
what else happens? He
Wait, there was something I wanted to say.
okay.
from this first scene, the conversation scene. I mean, the biggest. That's where the conversation happens, right? I mean,
Right, that's kind of the central point of the film in some ways, and it repeats itself over and over and over again.
What do you guys mean? In some ways, it is the central point in the film.
No, it's not,
yes,
because Gene is the.
yeah, but what did you think of that conversation at the beginning? What did you make of it?
I thought they were being like the victims the whole time. Like I was worried for them, as the Hackman also was.
Did you
Oh,
think
I
they
didn't
were a
even
love
think that
interest?
it
Those
was.
first
I thought
two?
they were doing something bad. I thought they were involved in like some sort of a criminal conspiracy
Yes.
together.
Oh,
Like they
I
were
thought it was
like
an
doing
affair.
bad things in like a foreign country to make money or some shit. Like some White Lotus season 3 shit is what I thought. Because my
Yeah, I didn't.
initial read of the scenario was that the surveillance team was the government.
Oh no, private sector right off the bat.
I did not think that whatsoever. Because in my head, like the only people that have access to these sorts of things are cops.
Until you end up going to the surveillance convention.
Right. No, I'm not saying, I'm saying at the beginning, Jared, that I thought it
Okay,
was
well,
cops.
you should have a greater understanding of the surveillance world as
Why?
someone
Why
who
would I have a greater understanding of the surveillance
it
world?
seems like it's in your path of study.
Okay.
So, do we think Gene likes this girl that he hooks up with, or is he sort of just using her and then because he does leave pretty quickly, right? He leaves the rent money and then he gets out the door.
Well, he gets
Danny,
mad at
what
her
do you
for
think?
asking questions about him. He's very private. He's a very private boy. But he
Hmm.
does seem to love her when he has the conversation later with the hottie.
That's a great scene. That's a
And he's
beautiful
like,
scene.
"Do you think that she loves me?" Basically, is what he says, right? He's
Yeah,
like,
and
"What
she's
would you
like,
do if
"How
you had a
would?"
girl who's always waiting for you?"
Yeah, and she'd be like, "How would I know that he loves me?" And then he goes, "He doesn't even know," or something like that. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's pretty. That's a beautiful scene. And then they ride that little moped around. That's a cool. That
I
was really
like the
cool.
moped. Yeah.
I love that his warehouse slash office.
Yeah, it's sick.
It's so
To
good. It's so
y-
good.
to me, it was weird that he hosted that party there. I didn't. That seemed out of the norm for his character
I
because it
100%
felt like
agree. That's like one of the things
I
that
think
makes me the
somebody.
most upset about it.
Well, somebody like talked him into it, and he's like, "Okay, whatever."
Yeah, but he was
And it
already
was probably
mad
that
that
big
whole
guy
time, and then like all of a sudden it cuts to him like drunk and hanging around with these people and letting some random stranger have access to his shit.
who then betrayed him and was recording him with that little pen the whole time. Which,
Right?
dude, what a terrible party trick to try to pull.
Yeah, that could have
Yeah,
gone
yeah.
so much. It went pretty badly, but it could have gone way worse as well.
Oh my god, how pissed would you be, Danny? I'd be afraid of your reaction
Yeah,
if you
I'd be
found
pretty
out
damn mad. I'd be
The
pretty
if
damn
crash
mad.
out would
someone.
be
Oh
monumental.
my god, we were talking San Juan plus Munich times three.
Munich wasn't even
There,
that bad. Um,
Well, we have to talk about Harrison Ford because after he goes to
yeah,
he's so young.
we've neglected the cast on this.
it's all right. We're bringing him up as we see him.
Yeah, yeah.
Harrison Ford is a funny character. Do you guys know like the background on this?
No.
Why he got casted?
Well, no. Like when he got the role, like it was supposed to be like this kind of ancillary part, but Harrison Ford took it really seriously, and he created this really elaborate backstory where his character is gay and like all these different things, and told Francis Ford Coppola about it, and Coppola was like, "I love it. This is great." And so Harrison Ford said he's playing a gay man the entire time, which is why he wears that. And he said this is why he wears that weird green suit at the end of the film. Um,
What?
it's just
Because
kind
he's
of
a
a funny,
fruitcake. That's so good.
yeah.
I like that
And it was
background.
like, it was his idea to be a little fruitcake, but it's like you can't tell when you watch the movie that he's playing a gay man. I mean, maybe in the '70s you could, but
No, I
That's
couldn't
actually.
tell.
I wonder how many filmmakers have made characters like that, or actors who being gay is just a very subtle trait, and no one actually knows by the end of the film whether that was part of them or not.
Well, it's also interesting
yeah.
because the way that they call the boss guy there, the director, and this goes
I
along with
like
me
that.
thinking they were law enforcement, is I was thinking like, oh, it's FBI, and then I was thinking about what's his name? Hoover, and how
Mm-hmm.
Hoover, J. Edgar Hoover he was gay and he would hire gay agents, sexy young agents. And so I thought that was kind of what
Interesting.
was going on there as well.
No, he was drag.
Interesting.
He
What?
wasn't gay. He was drag. He just liked dressing up.
Hoover?
Who were just dressed up in women's
No, he
clothes. He was
lived with a
drag.
man for his entire life.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I thought he lived with his mom.
No, he lived with a
Is he the
man.
is he the most evil gay man to ever exist?
Yes, he's like the most sinister gay man of all time. Possibly.
Let's think
Other
on
than
that for a
like
little bit.
Jared.
Let's think on that.
Let's think about that for a little bit longer. At the end of the pod, I want to revisit who is the most sinister gay man of all time.
Hitler. Cool.
So he
So
hands off the tapes right to Harrison, and then
Harrison wants
he
him
starts like,
back. No, he wants him
No,
back. Gene wants him back.
yeah, Caul is his name.
Paul.
no,
No,
his name's
Harry.
Gene,
Harry Harry
Harry
Caul.
Harry Caul, yeah. Yeah,
and but he rips him back right from Harrison Ford. So he gets
and
him
he
back
wants
home.
he's getting paid 15K, which kind of seems high for the period or low.
For a surveillance job, so that'd be equivalent. Let's just ask chat what 15,000 1974 was. I have a feeling it's. Let's take guesses.
Well,
What do you
15,000
think?
in 1974 was 15,000, but the question is, what is its equivalent now?
Yes,
Yeah, we know that.
thanks.
No, that's not what he
I'm gonna
said, though. He's going to type in the wrong thing to chat, and then he's going to say some stupid
It's a
shit because he
it's
can't critically think.
I
equivalent
think
to
it's 50K.
$95,000 today. I was thinking
95.
50. I was thinking 50 to 60. Wow,
95
That's
is,
a
95.
cra-
and do you think that's good for a surveillance job or
I think that's about on par if someone were to contract us out today for a
you think
team of
people
that
still do
size.
this
Yes, all the time.
for purposes similar to this about like interpersonal
I bet
disputes?
Jared does this and like
There's a
is
lot of
lying to us about his
there's a lot of
job.
corporate espionage.
Right, I know
You
about
know,
corporate espionage. They talk
people
about
will
that in
go
the
out.
movie, of course.
Yeah, this is an issue at a lot of like military conferences and stuff, especially at like the happy hour events. And typically it'd be like a girl or something that would just set a drink nearby the table and just hear everyone yap 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 all those secrets away.
Oh, there is something when he leaves the office, he runs into the guy right who's having the conversation. He
Right.
sees him, so
And
he
he sees the
works at the
woman
company.
in the elevator.
Yes. So they both
Crazy.
he knows is like they're sort of connected to the company,
Right,
um, and we're learning that along with him, which is cool.
right.
I think it's interesting. You guys took a while to figure out like the director was the husband and that this was an affair the whole time. Like
It
the
took me literally until they showed the picture of the young woman on the wall to figure that out.
Yeah, it
I
took me a while for sure.
I don't know why I had that intuition right because I didn't even read like any summary of this
Yes, you
beforehand.
did. You read Wikipedia.
I read the
We
year and that it
we
was
know
a
before
sci-fi.
that you watch anything, you put it into ChatGPT and you get a little sentence or a paragraph on it
You know what,
because
Tim?
you don't want to get scared before the show
I don't want
starts.
to get scared. It was a little spooky. I did, dude. This was a very frustrating movie as someone on the spectrum for like the overstimulation of like sounds.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know
Oh,
I
you
I
was
were on
get
the
wearing my big
spectrum, Jared.
so upset.
I was wearing my cans, my big headphones, and the sound design is
Were
incredible.
you touching cans too?
No, I was like this. This is what I look like when I watch film.
Accentuating the Michael
Interesting.
Jackson nose. Um,
Oh,
and then we see Gene at his workplace kind of stitching together the different recordings so as to get the full conversation. He's doing this with his coworker, who I can't remember the name of, Stan.
Stanley. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Uh,
I had a feeling.
He was Fredo, right, in Godfather?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Damn it, you took away that. But I had a feeling like Harry was Tim in this scene, trying to stitch together our Riverside podcast,
Yes.
and then Stan
That's
was
me. That's me
Stan,
removing the F slur from Mamma Mia.
Danny was Stan in there, just aggravating, putting in commentary, and just making it harder for him, and just shut up, Stan.
yeah, he really
So
freaks out there. And he doesn't like when the Lord's name is taken in vain, which was nice to see as a Catholic
I did,
podcast.
dude. The Hackman's faith in Catholicism shows in this, and I really appreciate it because he's balancing a very big moral quandary because he has this obligation to the service that he's trying to provide to the director. He's afraid that Harrison Ford's character is going to interfere with the receipt of these tapes, and this is before he even knows the true danger that these tapes could cause or to the individuals targeted. And
Yeah.
he ask in the time of crisis of and looks for guidance? The
The
church.
Christ.
Yeah,
It's pretty awesome.
pretty
Well, I'm
awesome.
sure we all read the Wikipedia, which is what all movie podcasts do, which is just recount little tidbits from Wikipedia. But of course, Francis Ford Coppola says that the confession scene is a very important part of the film because, in fact, that's the earliest form of surveillance. Anyone read this?
No, I
What
did not read
confession?
that.
Oh, when he.
When he goes to the church and he goes to confession.
Right. Yeah.
And FFC
No,
says, "Oh, that's because that's actually what surveillance
so
is."
what? I have a question because neither of you are Catholic. What are you guys' views on the whole idea of confession?
It's literally the gayest, stupidest shit I can possibly imagine.
I think it's just sort of
Whoa,
a nice cop out for people to say what they did bad, and then they think that it's fine, like absolved. They can push, and then walk high and mighty with a little ash on their forehead.
Yeah, I literally can't think of anything
you
dumber.
don't get ash at confession.
I can't think of anything dumber, and it's embarrassing.
I like the ceremony of it. I think it's kind of neat. I guess.
Jared, do you actually believe in God?
This is a
Stop.
Catholic podcast of Fishy Film Fridays. We all believe in the Lord,
It's just
Of
like,
course,
it's
I believe
crazy.
the Lord said to Noah, "There's going to be a mighty, mighty flood."
and
Wait,
you,
I did want to talk. Let's not talk about religion. We don't talk about religion or politics or sex, okay?
No, we're gonna talk about
But
all
I do.
sex.
all three have been discussed in this episode already.
I like the scenes where he's messing because we talked a little bit earlier about the technology. Like this is
Yes.
the end of the analog era, right? Or I guess the 80s, 90s were, but um, I really love how it's tinkering and all these weird little gadgets and googads.
Yes.
And we see more of that later at like the expo, but um, I
Yeah,
think it
like,
really
and the
enhances
fact
the
that he's
film.
making all these things by himself, and
He's
it's
a
all
genius.
it all requires a lot of space. Nowadays, this probably wouldn't take as much space to
I
have.
would say he's a wonderkin,
Yeah, he's a
honestly.
wonder kid for sure.
Jared,
And
what
he's
is
like
that
famous
face?
for it. Like he's famous within the field for his work.
What is that face?
The Wonderkin.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now after the what does he say at the confession? I actually don't remember.
That he caused people to get hurt in the past.
And
Um,
something about using the Lord's name in vain, I think, as well.
yeah. Well, and then he's afraid he's going to get more people hurt in the future and seeking for the help of Father.
I mean, it was classic Coppola being like, look at the Catholics."
Yeah, and he loves those dark shadows when he's in the confession booth.
Yeah.
It's a great shot there.
Yeah, I mean, the film is beautiful, start to finish. Start to finish.
I know, and I
Confe-
watching it, I'm like, damn, they don't make movies like this anymore.
No, they
no
don't.
original.
Or even with like wide shots with people in it.
Yep. Or like a slow burn, like nothing really. It's very
Minimalist.
Hitchcockian, I would say, in
It
many
was
ways.
so boring. It was so boring,
I don't think it's boring at all.
dude. I fell
I found
asleep
this
during
way
this.
more interesting than Mamma Mia,
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
Okay, but like this is an easy movie. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying it's an easy movie to easily fall asleep to and then pick back up. Because that's what happened to me last night.
Dude, I'm
uh,
not paying you for watching it then. You gotta send me your money back if you didn't watch it.
You didn't send me any money.
But this is what you sound like when you're like, I'm just letting you know that that's what you sound like. You
I
throw a
didn't ask
fit
for any money.
if we don't watch the movie, but you
I
fall
watched the
asleep.
movie.
That's why you're
I
like,
I
that,
fell asleep and then I woke up at 4 a.m. to watch the rest of it because the dog was barking.
you woke up at 4 a.m.? That's kind of nice.
I know, so I kind of hated that part, but like I enjoyed the movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it's a movie that you could easily be put to sleep.
nah, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, and every shot
Or
was just like a dream. So then, okay, he goes to confession. Then what happens?
The expo's right after that.
Is it really? Okay. So he goes to the expo. He meets his enemies from his past. He sees his coworker who's now since quit his job. Uh,
But I love all the little gadgets here where they're like, "Oh, check out this! Like
well, it's
this
also funny because like
surveillance
this is like
system."
Jared's job is like he goes to little expos and like yells at
It
people
is.
in the hallway
It
to
is.
buy his product, and it's like, damn, that
I
looks
don't do. I
terrible.
don't do it, dude. I don't do the yelling at people. That is the worst part of any trade show. If you're like a salesperson that has to sit at those,
And wear a polo
we were yeah.
if you wear a
It's tough.
polo.
You gotta if you can
I
engage
literally can't imagine having that job. Like, I can't, like,
at a cocktails nice at least in the business
I would
centers.
kill
You know,
myself so fast. I'd kill myself before I ever got in the room.
it's kind of like academic conferences a little bit. There's a lot of technical like because they went to that little theater where someone was spouting some little like information or presentation. Those are like kind of the more interesting parts. And the shows fund themselves through the people with their little sales booths.
Yeah.
You guys ever go to
Um,
an expo like as a fan, like as a guest, just to see
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah, I've been
I've been to car shows; those are kind of cool.
car shows. I've been to multiple food shows. Those are very fun.
I don't think food show
I've been to a
counts.
flower
Oh
show
yeah, but you
before.
you did it for you did food for sluggers.
Yeah, we did. I've done amusement park shows. What else?
I went to a flower
Yeah.
show one time and I was tripping on
Well,
shrooms and the flowers looked crazy.
that's pretty
Ooh.
fun.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
So, what do you guys think of the harmonica tap, the phone he
That
set
guy's
up?
obviously a, what do you call that? What's that word? Huckster? There's no way
I
that
liked
shit
his character
works.
though.
And then he's like, here's the demonstration. And then it wasn't actually a demonstration. And then he's like, but isn't that a cool product? And it's like, no, you didn't show that it worked.
Well, it probably works. We have to assume it works.
I don't think I would make that assumption. I'd go, this guy's trying to rip me off.
But there's definitely a line from snake oil salesman in the Wild West and this guy. Like, there's a direct lineage.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Same sort of
I,
guy. But
And it's interesting
Tim
how
as
the conversation that occurs on the in his demonstration on the phone is about marital infidelity, and it's like a
it is.
yes,
joke. And then that's also what's happening in the film as a whole. But it's like this
and
shit's
I think
actually
Gene
serious.
realizes that too, right?
Wait, so I'm confused.
In fact,
That
it's like,
his
and that's also kind of what goes on with the pen thing afterwards. Is it's also like it feels like this like the privacy
Invading
of
a
like a
personal moment.
yes,
so his
and it gets
wife.
Gene real worked up, and then that's also what happens
That's
in the
his
overall
wife.
film. It's a bunch of
That's
microcosms.
that's his wife in the booth with him, right?
No,
I think it's just her
Oh,
as his assistant.
yeah, I think it's just his assistant.
oh, that changes so much. I thought that was his wife the whole time, and then she went out to party with them.
No, yeah, I think it's just his coworker.
Who that she probably he slams on the side or something.
Yeah, probably.
Eh,
But she
70s.
was also like hanging around that other guy who was there who like was less important, like fourth or fifth guy.
Yeah. Then there was the old, like the lady with the white hair who had no like dialogue at the party.
Oh, I
Yep.
don't remember.
Also, they all crammed in that like car. What a
The car scene is
terrible
crazy. They're driving like fucking maniacs.
Yeah, because they're drunk, right?
drunk
It just
driving with
doesn't
like
it doesn't
eight
really
people
seem
in a
like
car meant for
What
five.
Gene's character would do at all.
Yeah, very. Yeah, that whole sequence really put him out of
But I mean,
character.
Gene wasn't driving though.
Right,
No,
but would he get in that
he had the
car?
honey on his lap.
Yeah, he had a honey on his lap. He kind of is a ladies' man, Loki. He's a kind of a legendary stick man.
As most Catholics are.
Well,
Yeah,
there we do have to remember. I think what freaked him out maybe was because Harrison Ford talks to him at the trade show right before he
right,
leaves in the car, and he
right.
says like, "We're watching you," right? Doesn't he say something like that?
Yeah.
And so that might have freaked him, where he goes, he needs to be around people.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I can see it.
Might be a
Mm.
stretch though, because I agree, it's sort of out of character for this loner to want to be around all these hooligans.
Yeah.
I love
Uh,
when the guy who's driving chases down the guys in the Mustang, and then he calls out like all their physical descriptors. Right? He's like 6'10", and then says their like address.
yeah, what was the deal with that? I couldn't really figure out what was going on
Well,
there.
I thought he called in the people to like the police department or
Yeah, he
something.
called it
Yes.
in, and then they gave him all the information on based on his license plate, and so then he could just yell at him about it. Wouldn't that be scary if somebody did that to
So
you?
he's like kind of like doxing them.
Yeah, he doxed. He
Oh,
did a dox.
That's kind of
that'd
cool.
be I'm surprised there's not an app yet, and maybe there is, where you could just start screenshotting people's license plates and like just pull that info real quick.
I think
Like
that's,
If
I
you
don't
work for
think that's
the
public
MVA, you
record.
could. If you work for MVA, you could do that, or DMV.
DMV, yeah, that'd be interesting. Oh, I'd like
But
that
like, how much
because
can you really get off of that? Like, traffic offenses is pretty much it, right?
no
Where it's
license
registered
name.
to, like the address
No,
it's registered.
you'd have the app developer be like, yeah, registered the name of the owner of the vehicle. Then you pull that name, and then you could even like pull even like a soft credit report from something like that.
Oh,
Divorce file. Dude, you could pull up like the public records of like they got divorced, what other properties they own, any businesses registered in their name.
Litigation.
So much shit.
wait,
You
is
could
that shit
eat.
all public?
Oh yeah. Oh well, you have to pay for it. There's
No,
services you can just put in little information and it gives you
there,
all this.
yeah, there's
Whoa.
paid services to aggregate it, but like if you want to go just figure out like what properties people own, you just got to go figure out what like some very base level details with it.
They're at the party, he's flirting with the girl, but then there's the pen trick that occurs where the huckster
Yeah.
guy gave him a pen
Well,
that's a recording device.
before the pen was exposed, there was that part where the huckster guy Moran kept trying to like get him to tell, "How'd you do that job in Chicago? How'd you do it? No one could figure it out. How'd you
Right.
do it?"
The
And
one with the
that
people
was
sitting on the boat. And that's the one that leads to the murder that haunts him, correct?
Mm.
yes, yeah, yeah,
It is. So
and
he pulls off this impossible job, and then it ends up leading to the demise of this family. And they're talking about it, and June gets very upset. That's
yeah,
obviously like a
they said
precursor.
the family was naked, tied up.
And shaved,
What
hairless, and then their heads were cut off.
what the hell is wrong with people?
Yeah, I know it's crazy.
The
You know,
70s were scary, man.
dude, being
Were they
murdered.
really though?
Yeah. Oh my
When
God, they were
Because you
it's
could do
really
whatever and not get
scary.
caught back then, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
That's why all the
there's
that's why all the boomers like won't give it up now because they made all these fake these they lived in this world of magic and wonder in the 70s where they could do whatever they want and do these horrible things and then they create these jobs and now they don't want to give it up and they're all boomers and won't give it all up and I
Yeah.
blame the times for that.
okay. Um, yeah. How if you were that part stuck with me how those people were murdered a little bit because like if I was murdered and
Because you might
beheaded,
be murdered like that one day.
dude, I
They
like
don't
I'd
have to do
be
much shaving to make him hairless, though.
Yeah, his nutsack like a
No, your
baby's.
chest is notoriously hairless.
mine.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not as hairy as yours. Tim, how's your chest? Oh, I stretched my
He thinks
collar out.
his.
I got some. I got more than you.
Okay, it's fine. I don't mind. Um, I'd feel
Sounds
bad
like you
that
mind. Sounds like that would be real.
I'd
You're
be
kind of
I.
being Gene on this one.
I'm not
You
being
literally
Gene.
pulled your shirt down to prove you had chest hair. That's like the most fragile masculinity thing imaginable.
Uh
I
oh.
am upset that the wife and the child got shaved, and
Stretched out the neck of his shirt.
now I. Oh my god.
It's
Oh, the
okay, buddy.
hoodie.
Look,
Okay, I feel bad that like if your family's murdered and they got like roped into not just being murdered but like shaved and naked
Beheaded.
and beheaded, like just such a shameful way. Do you think the Hackman was naked when they found him?
no, but he. Oh God, I can't imagine what state he was in. He was like decomposing.
Dude, that's rough.
Rigor mortis had set in.
Damn.
Oh,
Um,
and they sh-
so
oh
then,
they all shit themselves too.
Oh,
yeah, you shoot yourself when you die.
so we talked about that scene where he like has that private moment with the lady. It's kind of a beautiful moment,
Yeah. And they're like fucking around in the
and then
warehouse.
the boys go vroom vroom in that open area. What a great warehouse he's got.
Yeah, I don't understand why he doesn't live there all the time.
Yeah, because he has a bed in there.
Yeah. It's very odd to me that he also has this other weird apartment that's
So
like not
is it a
secure.
warehouse or is it a parking garage? I thought that was a parking garage.
I think it's a
I think it's a
warehouse. It's
warehouse.
wooden floors and shit.
But where they're driving the moped, it like looked like parking spots. I swear.
No, that's the same spot that he's in at the beginning.
Okay. I
Um, and then everyone leaves after he gets really mad, and they're like kind of like roasting him for how mad he got.
Wow.
Um,
Did you feel like you were Call in that scene ever? Like
100%, yeah. I felt like him multiple times in this movie.
yeah, very.
Um, all the scenes of him like when he's like alone and he's just like kind of walking around, those were really hitting my heartstrings a lot, actually. I'm not gonna lie. Um,
Really?
I like a movie with like a guy that's doing that, like a dude walking around, nicely dressed.
Yeah, he had some good suits for
And that jacket
not.
he has on is incredible.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Like,
the
I would love
trench
to wear
coat.
that. And then everyone leaves and the woman stays behind.
Yeah.
Hot, hot
Is
lady.
she?
I thought she was hot.
I thought she was very very attractive.
Yeah.
She was like a grandma. I was getting big grandma vibes.
I think it's because of the way
Well,
she's dressed, because women back then read as old to us when they're dressed in past fashions.
Right.
But she's
And
got
he
a
goes to
rockin'
bed.
body.
He goes to bed, and it's he has a great dream sequence. Oh my gosh, this is
Yeah,
great.
goated dream sequence. You want to tell us about it,
He
Tim?
says some really funny things. So he sees the woman, right, in his dream
The woman
from the
that was part of the
conversation,
original conversation. Yeah.
and he's trying to warn her in the throughout the haze and the
Yes.
fog.
Which we might
Um,
compare the haze and fog to the audio distortions in the recording process.
yeah,
hmm
could say that.
but he first warns her, and then starts getting into like some confessions of his own. He says
Yes.
something along the lines of like, when I was a kid, my dad introduced me to his friend, and I punched him, and he died a year later.
That one was funny. The other one was really sad.
That one was really funny.
What was the other one? I'm
The other one is that he was born when he was younger, he was very sick. He was
oh
paralyzed in one arm and
paralyzed.
one leg. His mom was putting him in the shower or in the tub for therapy, like
Tony
to try.
wanted to die.
And no, and she like someone came to the door,
He
so she
almost
left him and he
drowned.
started to slide down in and drowned. And then he wakes up and he's covered in oil, which is the holy oil that his mother had thrown on him because she thought he was dead.
Oh my
And
god.
he woke up and said, I wish I thought, he's like, I afterwards, I wished that I had died, actually died.
Yeah, that's so sad.
That'll fuck you up for sure.
Yeah.
Who's had any of us have a near death childhood experience?
No. I had like one
I
time at the
actually,
beach, I like had a scary situation at the beach one time, but I don't think I was close to dying.
what happened at the beach?
Yeah, tell
Riptide.
us about that. Oh,
Oh, the
Riptide got
riptide.
you.
Yeah.
Oh boy, like
How
how
I
far
don't
long
know
how
how
ago?
old I
short
was
did
though.
you
I was
go?
maybe like 10 or 12.
I fell in the pool eating a banana, and I was choking on a banana, and then I fell in the pool.
what? What?
That's what John should have
What?
ever heard in my life.
How we not heard this story?
I definitely have told it.
I
No,
don't think so. I would remember that one. That's really
wait.
good.
You choked on a. But how'd you choke on a banana? Did you eat the
You see
peel
him eat
too?
bananas. He doesn't know how to handle himself
No, I
around a
was eating it
banana.
quickly. I was like 7, maybe I was like 6.
Way too old to be choking on bananas.
Dude, have you
No,
seen, you saw
absolutely.
he ate that banana between my legs at the fucking, he's good at
All
eating a
right, yep,
banana.
that's docs. That we're gonna count that as a docs. That's gonna be.
I wasn't at the Rocky Horror thing.
But yeah, I was. I was by the pool, and we had like shown up to the pool early that day, and I was like eating breakfast, and I choked, and I slipped in, and then my sister jumped in with all of her clothes to save me. My dad was like taking off his fucking penny loafers and like taking off his clothes very one at a time to come like jump in and save me. That's a funny story.
Dude,
I
that
got
probably, you should probably talk about that in therapy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
that is an absolutely incredible story.
No, I think
My
it's more funny. I don't think I was actually dying. I think I just fell in the pool.
my
But
brother
your
ran me.
dad not reacting in the way that you maybe he should have, that could,
He took off it. Well, shit, those are expensive loafers, probably.
no,
Yeah,
dude, I
John's
feel like that's a problem. I feel like there might be damage from that.
and you are the only son,
Mhm.
so it's like seems like you'd be worth more saving faster. I wonder how slow he'd
Whoa,
be
that
undressing
was
for
crazy.
everyone else,
Well, he knew I could survive on my own, so he's like, he's got this.
or he didn't want a son.
Especially one that eats bananas like that.
He's like, oh, just got
I was like,
another girl. Oh,
Oh my God, doing that on camera is crazy. Now
I
we have
can't believe
images of that.
that
There's
would
some
go great
sicko
with our
watching our
deep
videos
fakes.
that's gonna beat it to that.
Bro, I edit all this stuff out, so it's fine.
No, you don't. um, my near death experience was my brother ran me over with the back two tires of a golf cart that I
Oh
jumped
shit.
off of when I was 4 years old, and like I like uh, what cement no asphalt burn on my back and stuff like that. Actually,
Yeah.
there's a little dent on my lower back you can still see from it, but I didn't go to the hospital at all. It was just like my mom put on hydrogen peroxide on my back and just said walk around like this for a while. Didn't go check to see if any bones are broken.
Damn.
4
Damn.
year old boy. Also tells you how strong my bones are. That fact, like the fact that nothing actually got that
It was all
crazy.
that Ensure that your mom was pumping you full of.
It was the Ensure, man. You guys know that story. My mom was telling me Ensure was like,
She was
Wait,
treating it
what?
like milk.
she's like, oh, you put Ensure in your milk. It's like putting Nesquik in. And I did that for like I don't know, maybe at least 3 maybe 4 years. So I was having my breakfast and an Ensure on top of that. Fucking
You probably became a big boy then.
yes, very big. I think it has probably caused effects to this day. Hey,
Ah.
Jared, why are you so fucking fat? I don't know. I'm eating healthy. I'm consuming 5,000 calories a day
Before lunch, you got
before
5,000 calories.
lunch.
No, I don't think it's that many calories.
Dude, it's a whole like yours. The insurers. I'm looking up what the insure is.
No, Ensure's like 400 calories.
It's still a lot to just be adding instead of just normal milk is crazy.
Ensure's for like grandpas and grandmas,
Yeah,
right?
like people in nursing homes.
Or like maybe like if you were a premature baby or something, like
Yeah, I'm looking on their
Oh, that's
website. They have
interesting.
a caregivers tab.
They're saying it's only 220 calories. I feel like it was more than that
yeah,
because
the
mine was
older
a
versions,
powder.
dude, they didn't have it streamlined.
Yeah, powder.
Let's see, nutrition. Um,
Wait, what are you talking about?
is
Near
it
death?
tough to keep your weight up? Question mark.
How
Let's
many
see.
Jared, your
calories
story
are?
about your near-death experience though reminds me of this kid I knew who was like kind of my like friend. And you guys had like a friend that was like not really your friend in high school, and you guys were like competitive and shit. No? Anyone?
No, you've told me about this before. Like, no.
Okay. Well, there was that kid for me. He got like run over by a lawnmower when he was younger, and so he like had like a patch of hairless skin on his leg because he had a skin graft.
Did you play saxophone?
Clarinet. How'd you know that?
Because I remember you telling me this.
That kid sucks. I hate that guy.
Like you had a rival. Like you're in Pokemon. Like you've got a rival in school.
It's like very girl coded. Like girls have experiences like this in their lives. I don't know why I had one.
Do you
Well,
think he felt similarly?
yeah, he hated me. Um,
Okay.
All right. So
Okay,
anyways,
after the
back.
dream, that was a good non sequitur.
yeah. The dream
He
happens.
goes.
What happens
Oh,
at
he
the end of
also
the
Oh,
dream?
dreams.
the bloody
He
Oh,
also
the
toilet. That was
blood.
weird.
Yeah, he
right.
starts
He
seeing
dreams that he
blood.
goes to room 733 or whatever.
Yeah.
773. Yeah.
A premonition.
Ooh, a premonition in an apparition.
Yes.
Ooh. Yes, so then he
Um,
starts to get pretty nervous about things at this stage. And it's actually interesting. It's also kind of a premonition of the fact that he's at that, probably while he's dreaming, the tapes are being stolen. The conversation tapes are being
Yeah.
stolen by that hottie. So I guess then we have to ask ourselves, who is the hottie if she steals the tapes? Who's she working
Wait,
for?
the hottie that he slept with was a different hottie than went to the party?
yes. Wait, no.
No, it's the
It's
same
the
hottie.
same,
But it's a
but it's a
different
different lady
hottie
from the
from the
beginning. It's
first.
different. Yeah, that's a different lady.
Okay, that had
How
me
did you not
Jesus
get that?
confused.
Because they're
Christ.
talking about her.
No,
That's
it threw me off a little bit. I was pretty sure it was the lady from the show, but like it didn't
It
make
is this
sense for a
lady
little
from the
bit.
show.
Yeah, but it would have made more sense if it was the other lady.
from beginning.
But he
Yeah.
was talking to her about the other
I know,
lady
I
from the
know. I'm
beginning.
saying, I'm saying, I understand with the storyline of like how she went to the party and everything, it makes sense. But like, if there were to be someone to go steal something, maybe not at that point in the movie, it made sense to be the other lady.
Yeah, like I don't understand how this lady's connected to the other stuff. I guess she's part of the director's group or something, working for the
Maybe
director.
they're probably well. Harrison Ford was at the show earlier,
Right, but how is
and
it that she's inculcated herself with this other eavesdropper guy to such an extent for this moment? Like
okay,
that's where I was
so
like still at this stage thinking she was it was FBI shit because that's like some
Maybe
real
she's in the
deep cover.
business.
Maybe she's just in the business, yeah. Which means like can't
actually,
trust anyone.
my question is, how would you feel after like a sexual encounter that you realize it was just basically to go steal your shit? Like,
I mean, it's
what?
sort of like what Cardi B does, right? That's what she used to do.
Yeah.
Hustlers.
Wait, what did she steal? I thought she just like rang up people's credit cards and shit.
Yeah, she would like sleep with rich men from the strip club and then steal their credit cards.
Oh, not
It's so
whether.
none of us, I'm assuming, have had this happen to us.
Of course not. No.
I think I've had cash stolen before back in the day.
Like at Gettysburg?
Yeah,
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 that makes sense to me.
yeah. Like after a
I feel like I
models night or
remember a
something.
story of you saying that, of like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's
We,
ever happened to me, but the thing is, you sometimes you don't know.
if you spend it at the bar, or if like,
Or like
yeah,
if
dude,
they
I'm
take
so
something that's
oblivious.
not money and not super valuable, but they take something else that you
oh
might not
yeah,
notice is gone.
like imagine them walking. Maybe not AirPods are a good example, but like something as simple as that. Like they're like, shit. Maybe I just misplaced it. I can't find it.
Yeah, yeah. It's very scary. It makes you like think, it really makes you think about all those times that you've let a stranger like into your home like that.
And like you fall asleep in front of them, and like they could just roam.
Yeah, they can do anything.
You
So
put a
yeah,
lot of trust in someone when you do those things.
What's the most upsetting thing that ever got stolen from you all?
my heart.
My heart.
Oh,
I don't know if I've ever had anything stolen. There is a rap
Honestly,
song.
like,
Good.
oh, go ahead.
Isn't there a rap lyric about like don't sleep with? It's like who is it? I don't
man,
remember, but there's like a song where it's a female rapper or something. It's like now you're sleeping with girls that you can't sleep with. You can't take your chain off when you go to bed or something like that.
Oh,
It might even be Cardi B or someone like that. Nicki Minaj maybe.
shit.
the shit that triggers me is when somebody like steals my food. I mean, I think about like elementary school to high school. Like, I'd
Uh-huh.
put my food down, go grab something, and then motherfucker took like the chicken nugget off my plate. I would freak the fuck out because it's like I was excited to eat that.
Yeah, I feel you.
Oh, that's
Oh
upsetting.
yeah, remember my gummy penguin situation freshman year? Do you guys remember
Vaguely,
this? My roommate ate my gummy penguins when he was high, and I like was like texting everyone I knew like who ate my gummy penguins, running up and
you're
down the
such a
Stein hallway
crazy
like
person,
who the
dude.
fuck stole my gummy penguins? And like
You're the
he
craziest thing
never
ever.
admitted to it. And then like
Why
three
are
months
you?
later, 3 months
You
later
should
he
not
comes
be in
back
front
from
of
like winter
children.
break and he brings me 3 bags of gummy penguins and he's like, Dan, I want to let you know I ate your gummy penguins. And he was like the
And what'd
only
you
person
say?
I didn't suspect, even though obviously it was him because he was my fucking roommate.
What would you say is the thing you guys have seen me get most upset about? Like if someone eaten or taken my shit.
You
I've
don't
gotten
really get
upset over
upset.
relations, like
Yeah, you don't
relationships or
really get
girls or
upset.
before.
You're pretty calm. You're cool headed. You don't get that upset.
I'm trying to think. There was the Super Bowl incident. That was a classic, but that's not quite the same.
No, that was because we tickled you, and then you like punched everyone in the room and
And
took my soup
then
bowl
1 year
and
later, they all
spiked it
died.
on the and spiked it on the ground. That's why I was upset because you made a mess in my room. And I like that soup bowl too, which I was
Yeah,
also
it's
pissed
always
about.
goddamn Super Bowl. No, I can't think of one for you. But yeah, I'd be so mad if someone did that to me. And that was like his masterpiece. Like he's like, this is the hardest one I've ever had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he was worried that something bad was going to happen, and of course that was justified. Yeah, pretty sad stuff.
So
And
he
Wait,
then
what are
what
you
went
happened?
talking
back.
about?
We're talking not the
The
soup bowl
movie.
anymore.
You know what I'm
What
talking
does
about?
he say is the best thing he's ever gonna do?
That taping, that how he edited it together and like stitched it together.
Yeah,
Oh
it
yeah,
was the hardest job. Remember he was talking about that when he was bragging to the Moran guy.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
You can
um,
see Gene's acting is great there, where he like sort of he like has enough and he just has to blurt out like
yeah.
because they won't get off his back. Anyway,
so
he goes
he
to the
tries to
office, right?
go. Yeah, he tries to go back to the director's office to go retrieve the tapes or like say no, he can't have it or somehow intercept it. And the front desk
Or
guy
say that they got
tries to stop
stolen
him.
because he doesn't know yet that they were the people that stole it from him.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, the
And then
front desk stuff is later.
Yeah, Jared, you're fucking up.
oh,
They call him on the phone and he's like, "You can come and collect your money. We'll give you the full payment."
Right. So
Um,
they're basically admitting that they stole it there.
and that's when the Dobermans are shown.
that's when the Doberman walks in, and that's when he gets the money. We meet the well. First off, Harrison Ford's in his green gay sweater, so that's a funny tidbit. You guys should look back up that
Yeah.
scene. Um,
And then we see the
and the
picture of the
directors,
woman that's in the conversation on the wall of the director's office. We see a photo of her with
yup,
him.
and they're playing the audio right when he walks in.
Yeah, which is crazy. Imagine you're presented with audio of your wife cheating on you.
It's a
Well,
crystal clear HD in
Yeah.
1974.
And like
people
there's a
get.
stranger that's in the room listening to it, and like your underling is
And your
listening to
Doberman
it.
just walked in.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
I feel bad for the Doberman.
What do you think the business is? Do you guys figure that out?
Nah, I
Like, what
can't figure.
they
is it?
say something about,
Architecture firm?
oh, I think it's, I don't know. It's so big. Like it seems like they got a lot of money to play around
They
with.
got a spiral staircase,
And it's in
a
San
gate man working as
Francisco.
like their
Yeah,
assistant.
the building is
Yeah,
beautiful. You're right, John. Yeah. Could be architecture, but I don't know. Or
But
it's
all the
like,
money is laid out. All the money on the table is laid out very interesting. So it's random, but it's weird how the money's laid out. Like there's so many different piles of
I
bills.
think some of it is small denominations and some of it is big denominations, but they're all
Like why
adding
would they
up
pay
to,
him like that if it's this big conglomerate, big corporation?
because it's got to be cash. It's hard to get your hands on that much cash. You ever try to get
Hmm,
your hands on that much cash?
not really.
it's
Yeah.
not that
I'm
hard.
I just outed myself.
You going to little banks?
No, I mean, it's hard to withdraw. Like, let's assume they're giving him 15K and that's 95 now.
Yeah,
You can't really withdraw that. In fact,
you
usually you
got
can only withdraw like 2,000 in cash per day or something like that.
no, no. You can do bigger. You just got to call them ahead. You know,
Yeah,
certain.
yeah, yeah. But it's rare, and oftentimes they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have to, you know, is fives okay or 20 is okay?" You know.
A little bit of callback, but you know how he never gives his phone number. He's like, "How you guys can't call me back? You don't have my number."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny, I got another vibe from you there, where you're like very limited on personal information you'll give out to people, or like you also like delete like text messages quite frequently and often.
I don't. What do you mean delete text messages quite frequently?
Don't you
Yeah, you like
automatically?
your retention data
Oh yeah, but
retention
that's not. That's just for
policies.
like cleanliness of my inbox purposes. It's not like a privacy thing. Um. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I definitely was thinking about that. He's like kind of like the OG hipster nowadays who's like, "Oh, I have a flip phone" or whatever. Like that's his whole
I
vibe.
don't have a single friend like that.
I have one friend like that.
Tim,
Yeah.
in your sphere,
Didn't Johnny DeBose? Well, he
That's
did for
true
a
for a
little bit.
while. Yeah.
yeah, he was iPad guy for a while,
It's so true.
but that didn't like last after undergrad. That wasn't going into like years of adulthood, did it?
It was a little bit into adulthood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um,
Anyway, he leaves.
Good
Well, he
job.
hands a picture to the
he,
director,
which why would
photos
you want
of
to
it,
see
right?
that at that point? I'd be like,
But he goes to the hotel room. They won't let him stay in the room. They only let him stay in the adjacent room, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which was interesting because at the trade show they were advertising like one of the things he was standing next to was like a thing that can allow you to listen through walls.
Mm.
Yeah,
But I think he had his own tech. He talked about how he
exactly, because
uses
he
only
builds it
his
all
own
his
tech,
own.
which I
I
am
actually really
impressed
like.
by.
So this is another moment I thought about Jared when he's in that hotel room scouting out how to figure out how to bug the one next door. He's drilling that hole in the wall and he flushes it twice in a row. And I was like,
I
wouldn't
do
that be kind
that.
of obvious that like you hear someone flush a toilet twice in a row? And I was like,
No, I
nah,
flush
Jared has
it.
to do that all the time.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta just make sure it gets down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been happening in the office a lot lately.
And then so he drills a hole in the wall and he listens and he hears he hears the
Drills a
fight
hole in the
happening.
wall. I was thinking about Aaron Andrews' video. Drills a hole in the wall.
Ah,
Oh,
classic.
that's
Yeah, I was.
forgot about that.
And there's also like the clock that they sell at the fair thing with like the camera and the clock. Like hotels and Airbnbs are definitely the places where I think about this the most.
Dude, I have probably have so much like hidden camera footage of me just doing very disgusting things in hotels, walking around naked and
I
your own
think
personal
hotels are
time.
probably safe, but Airbnbs are definitely filming you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's like they want to make sure there's no property damage or whatever.
But I agree. Hotels. I mean, I get disgusting in a hotel. That is
Yeah, you said that recently in the text messages. It
You
was kind
got
of
two
yeah,
alarming.
beds. One's for sleeping, the others for the worst things you're doing.
exactly. I'm using it as a toilet paper, as like a tissue. I'm using it for everything. Napkin. Like I'm eating in there and I'm using it as a napkin. And I
Drink.
think about which bed because hotels that come with two queens or whatever.
Yeah. I
The
usually
one closest to the door is the dirty bed, and
Yep,
then
yep, because
the one
it's
closest
near
like
the
the
toilet
window.
too.
Mm-hmm. He's tinkering. And he starts to hear the stuff going on in the other room.
Yes. And he hears the fight, and then he starts like having visions and things. Still, like they're like from the dream, kind of like he's imagining what's going on over there, and he starts to go crazy. He pulls the
Yeah,
blind shut.
his mind's eye has really gotten out of control,
Yeah, and like for me at this stage, I was having a hard time like figuring out if it was actually what was real and what was fake. You know?
which I think is on purpose, right?
Yes, yes. And then he crawls into bed and he's like blasting the TV.
Yeah, he
Do
has
you
like
guys
a
see what he?
weird.
Oh, and
What?
when he goes to bed, when the TV's blasting, do you hear they're talking about Nixon on it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There go a little Watergate, and then he wakes up the next morning, and motherfucking Flintstones is on, baby.
Oh, I didn't notice that part.
I didn't catch that.
I
Yeah,
actually
guys,
liked the
it's
way that they
Flintstones.
shot the TV though. Like usually when you see a TV in a movie, it's like straight on, and they shot it kind of like from above, and so you're seeing like the screen in a different way. I thought it was actually
Yeah,
interesting.
it's one of
Um,
those old tube TVs too.
yeah. Then he wakes up in the morning and what does he? How does he get in? Oh, he picks the lock.
He was like,
Remember?
"Why didn't he just do that from the beginning?"
Well, I guess because he didn't want to be there when the murder happened or something.
Yeah.
Picks the lock, and the room is immaculate except the toilet.
Yeah. Well, it's got that little thing on. I've never understood why that thing is on a toilet at a hotel.
I've never seen that actually. That was the first time I'd seen that.
Jared, have you seen that at a hotel?
I don't know what we're talking about.
They have like
There
a
was
little
like,
paper seal on the toilet to know so that you know that no one's used it since it's
Oh
been
yeah,
cleaned.
yeah. I've seen those.
I always
I
think
guess
that's
it's that
weird.
because you don't want to you don't want to put your butt on where somebody else's
That's
butt.
common. I see a lot like in Central America and stuff.
You mean
Countries
like
where you
the
want them to
center of
know, like
America
I,
or
Yeah,
like
the Midwest,
Honduras?
the
Central
Central of the
America,
Yeah.
Americas.
like Iowa, Ohio, like Central America.
Places do that they want you to know they're cleaning stuff, like, and that they think that you might believe that they aren't cleaning stuff.
Yeah, so it's like not nicer places.
Yeah, yeah. Like that happens
Interesting.
at like a motel, like a Motel 6 or whatnot.
Yeah. I don't like it when they do that little weird foldy thing with the toilet paper where it's like folded like a
Yeah,
I like
triangle.
that.
looks like a necktie.
Yeah, it looks like a necktie. Good call.
That'd be a funny necktie design, just like a toilet paper pattern.
Yeah, I like that actually. Maybe I'll make that. And so yeah, then he flushes the toilet and then a bunch of blood comes out all over the floor. Once again, it's hard to tell if it's true or not, right? And then what happens after that?
Yep.
I'll tell
He
you
runs
what,
out and he goes
that
to
would have
the.
been
He
true to
goes.
me.
What was that?
The blood in the toilet. Phew, that would not be a
That
dream
you see that
sequence
you
for
see
me.
that often that scene
But-
of blood just all over the floor.
oh boy, rough
Um,
nights.
Gene runs right to the office to confront them or to
Yes.
figure out what the fuck's going on.
And they won't let him
And
in. They
that's
kind of like
this is
carry him out.
yeah. This is when the security's like, back the fuck up, Gene.
You guys ever been carried out of an establishment before?
Yep.
No, but you guys have.
Have I been?
Yes.
If you haven't, then that would be more surprising.
Prague, you weren't carried out, but you were kicked out, and also physically kicked
I was
other out.
dragged out.
Okay, and then I was carried out like a carpet out of that Myrtle Beach club.
But then when Gene gets kicked out, he sees the nice car and he's like, "Who's in this car?" And he looks over really slowly as he's investigating, and it's the lady from the
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah. So then at this
And
point,
so
he's
now,
like, wait, she didn't get killed?
and what did you think? My brain was like, "Huh?
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
What'd you think?" Well, Jared knew it from the beginning. He knew
Yeah,
the
I
whole.
don't. None of this stuff. None of this shocked me.
Even when they show it's the woman is in the car.
He's a real wonderkind, this guy.
Yeah, real wonder. No, it did not shock me.
Then what did you think had happened in the
The guy,
hotel?
the director is still alive at this scene, right? I'm the
No, the
murder had.
director's dead.
Yeah, the
It's
director's
Oh,
after the
dead.
murder.
oh, when she's coming down. Oh yeah, that I was a bit shocked by that. I thought she was the one who got killed.
Yeah, so then we basically, the viewer realizes that, in fact, they were not the people in danger of being murdered, but they were plotting the murder of the director because they wanted to, I guess, be together or something. Who do you think is the
They wanted to be together.
mastermind behind this plan? Do you think it's the woman or the man?
I think it was
Woman.
both of them, and I think it was to
Whoa,
be together. And there was
way to take credit away from women that they can't plan that by themselves.
Well, so to me,
well, I
it
think
felt like
it
the
has to
man
be a
was like kind
mutual
of
thing.
begging her to do it in the conversation. He keeps saying like, "Well, he'd do it to us."
That's true. He's kind of talking her into it. There is a
Mhm.
financial incentive because don't they talk about like what does this mean for your stock options? Or, like, don't they say something like that? Like the reporters.
Oh yeah,
So I
yeah. I
feel like
forgot about
there's
the
some
reporters.
financial implications as well
Yes, and it's like in the newspapers that this guy has died, right? And they call it
in
a
a car
car
crash.
accident. Yeah.
Which is how did they stage the car accident? Jesus.
I think it's not that there's a car. I don't think that they staged it. Oh, maybe.
Wait, I didn't know that part. I didn't
I
catch
was
that.
thinking that it was like a PR spin, not that they staged something.
Oh, but wouldn't
Because
they
like
be in
the way that
fucking
the
jail
hotel
for
room had been
murder?
cleaned so well,
I guess so, but why? Who cares
like
about the
would those
PR of
two
that?
people have been
If
able to do
that,
a perfect cleaning job of that?
but who cares about the PR of a murder versus a car accident? Still a dead director.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That part is weird. Um, and then what
But I
happened?
love they show shots of them like pulling off the murder too. It's really interesting.
Yeah, like
Gave me
they're wrapping
pleasure.
him in like the plastic and
How did they get him out of the room? Did they put him in a nice big duffel bag?
Yeah, and well, maybe they sort of wrung him out like a ShamWow into the toilet, and that's how all the blood got in there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
the sham. Wow. Um,
And then it cuts to Gene in his apartment, and he's sort of
yes.
chilling. He's back to chilling for just a second. He's
He got
chilling,
closure.
And then
but
what
then he gets a ring on his call. He gets a ring on his phone, I should say,
yeah, his phone that he
and
keeps in the drawer.
because he
And if
thinks
you're a
it's bugged,
security
I
expert,
guess
why are you having like some of his behavior doesn't make sense to me.
he should just get rid of the phone at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
But then they play back the recording of him playing saxophone, and they're like, "We're always listening,
Right.
so don't fuck this up. Don't we know you were there at the office building or whatever?"
Yeah.
And
We're
so they
watching.
play it
Yeah.
back, and he bugs the fuck out.
Hmm. Well, at
And
first
this
he's
is a
doing like
great.
normal stuff. Like if this happens to you, I think he starts off doing normal things. Like I think
Well,
all of us would start like checking behind things and
he
like
does
looking.
something pretty sacrilegious though. He takes the Mother Mary Virgin,
Right. And
something
he
that
breaks it
he's
in
very
half.
strong about, and he breaks it in half because that would be a great place to hide it because he loves
Yeah,
the Lord.
religious idol.
Well,
Religious
so
idol
I
of
think
his.
that there's something going on here, which is that he starts, as I said, doing like the normal stuff, like you check the curtain rods, you check the phone, all this makes sense. And then the second after he breaks the Mary statue is when he starts doing the things where you're like,
Yes,
okay, you're going a little bit too far here, pulling off the wallpaper, breaking up the floorboards, that sort of thing. And so
I could
I,
see you doing this though.
yeah,
no,
this is
100%.
very Dan coded,
I was thinking like this is reminding me of when I thought I had bed bugs earlier this summer.
and it
Um,
is it is funny. Like Gene's really getting sweaty. His back is
Yeah,
disgusting. He's
yeah.
obviously. I like to imagine he was actually doing all of this.
This is
They
a
just had to
workout
record
scene.
Imagine
him
you're that
freaking.
landlady who like used to break into his apartment to leave him wine, and then he like literally rips every single thing out of your
Oh,
building.
After he told you
oh,
never mess with him again, like
Yeah,
stop coming in.
yeah.
Like, bitch, this is why I
that's
was coming in.
legendary.
So he goes a little bit off the rails, and then the final shot is him sitting on a chair playing the saxophone amidst
In
his
his gutted
ruins.
house, in his
Yeah,
fucking vacant house.
yeah.
Good conclusion.
I bet the microphone was in the saxophone.
You guys really don't read the Wikipedia. So in the Wikipedia, it says that it was inspired by these types of recording devices that were popular at the time, where they're made to look like everyday objects. So like, there's no microphone. Like the whole object is the bug,
Is the microphone?
and so that's why the saxophone is all that's left. Is not that the bug is in the saxophone. The bug is the saxophone, and
Yeah,
that's why
right,
they have the audio of him playing the saxophone.
right. Of course,
But he's not smart enough to know that that's what that is. Or maybe he does, and he's just given up at this point.
he's too. He wasn't thinking right. I mean, he's just.
Yeah.
He loves the saxophone too much. You don't give up the thing you love most. You'll tell yourself a lie in order to keep it there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
like the
that's the
ending.
end.
What did you think of the ending, Jared?
It was a nice subtle editing. Runtime was appropriate. I was happy with that.
How was the
Um,
pacing?
guys make fun of my pacing. It was slow, too slow for me.
Well, no, it was my question. I wanted to ask you the question.
I it was such a slow burn, and
Which is how
um,
you build suspense. Once again, this is my point to you every
yeah,
time. If it was
What's
fast,
a
it wouldn't
slower
work.
burn? What's a slower burn? This or White Lotus season 3?
This.
yeah, this is so much slower than White
But in a
Lotus.
positive way. I think White Lotus is like, it's like, it's not that covert all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In fact, I'd say it's kind of heavy-handed this season.
Yeah, there's a lot
Wow.
going on.
Speaking of which, J-Red spoiled it for you. That was so funny.
Yeah, that
No,
was crazy.
he's fine.
Can't believe that hasn't
But
come
then I
up on this
watched the
call.
app and I was like, I don't know. I watched the app and I was like, okay, it wasn't too bad. But don't watch the fucking next one and spoil it. I swear to God.
I'm
I feel
gonna.
like
I'm gonna.
things are finally happening. So
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to
Cool.
do some any other questions, commentary, Danny, or you want to go move this to final thoughts because
Yeah, I think let's do final thoughts. I don't think I
this
have any
has been
prepared
the
questions.
fucking slow burn of episodes.
It's
Oh
been a
my
good episode. I
god.
don't know what your
this has
problem
been a
is.
good app. We like Mamma Mia was in like 2 hours long.
Yeah, it was amazing and it was action packed.
Okay.
This one's only been an hour 20. This is fine. This is
Yeah,
this
this
is
is
this is a
perfect.
great length.
Okay, so Jared, you go first with final thoughts, then me, then Tim, because Tim will be announcing the next pick due to the classic Cleveland Browns trade swap by J-Red for the Mamma Mia
Yeah,
And then who gets it
extravaganza.
after me? Does it
Me,
go
I get
back
it
to
again.
Dan or does
Yeah, it's sick, dude.
that's insane.
Yeah.
He may never get it again.
no, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. It was a rough choice. So I like this. I thought the conversation was something different. I do appreciate the pick, Danny. Nothing like a good old 1970s like neo noir thriller, like having some jazz saxophone, some good Catholic guilt, some Doberman, and then the
That's true. It
crippling
really was actually
anxiety.
hitting a lot of checking a lot of boxes for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I enjoyed that. Love a good '70s flick with San Francisco. Kind of reminds me of a lot of like a Bullet with like Steve McQueen or some other like classic '70s Frisco flicks. Um, it brings some good. I really this as much as I hate seeing movies remade. This would I feel like could be like a good Black Mirror episode potentially.
Well, there's that
Um,
movie with what's her name? Zoe Kravitz that kind of is similar. That
I
recently
don't know
came
that
out.
one.
She's got blue hair. She's like, it's very similar.
we don't watch blue hair people and their Cookie
I
Monster
can't remember what it's
fans.
called, like Kimmy or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see. I don't know, and maybe this because this is also like this was not a big critical hit at the time, or a big commercial hit at the time. It was critically acclaimed. Um, I don't know if people would really care about it that much, but it does. It would be a fun one to see how this is 50 years later.
Yeah.
Uh, Pacing so damn slow. It was so boring, so boring. Um, but I enjoyed it. It was a unique story. That being said, the sound very overstimulating, but loved that they took the risk for it because it's like that. Those are going to be sound effects that are always going to be. I'm going to remember. Like
Yeah.
anytime something like that pops up, I'm like going to think of this movie. So it made the impact there. Um, and then I like it when movies do an opening scene that really are important to pay attention to because it makes you realize that all parts of a movie should be important. And I feel like a lot of movies just waste 10, 15 minutes
True.
of just like, let's just fill this up and do some fluff for minor exposition, but none of it actually matters.
Yeah, I think that's a good ass take.
Yeah. So at the end, I give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Nice.
I actually didn't enjoy it, but as a movie, objectively, it was a good movie.
Yeah, it was sexy as fuck. Nice. Okay.
That's a good review, Jared.
Yeah. I agree. I am giving it a 5 out of 5. Gene Hackman looks so good.
The Hackman.
The music is incredible. The shots are incredible. It had a dream sequence, which we know how I feel about dream sequences. Um,
I like it. I get called the F slur, but he doesn't when he talks about his like ooze for dream sequences.
how does that make me an F-star?
You can
Just
say
carry
the
on.
slur if you want.
I don't. I don't. I'm a man of the church that treats everyone with dignity and respect.
And I mean like this is also like my favorite genre is like suspense thriller type movies, and I like them when they're slow. I like when there's like a guy who's like it's him against the world and he's got his challenges, but he's walking around, he's doing his thing, you know what I mean? He's like I like that sort of thing. So it's like engineered in a lab to make me like it. Yeah, 5 out of 5. Not much to say really, other than that it slaps.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Tim?
Good review. I also love this movie. That was great. It bends genres too, where it is a film noir, as Jared mentioned, and it's also a suspense, and it's a thriller, and it's political too.
Hmm.
Um, I think it was great. I think Gene acts his ass off. All
Hmm.
the acting is great. The music is spooky and sad and scary. Um, I love this film. This is getting a 4.75.
Whoa.
Really close to 5.
What would
Really,
have gotten
really,
into
really
5 for
close.
you?
If like I don't know, like Lightning McQueen was in it, or if like the female lead was a
Lightning
little,
McQueen,
like the
the
female character
from
was a little bit.
Cars.
If Sydney Sweeney was in it or something, I don't know. But
Interesting.
I'm really excited to see Gene's like. This is such a great actor. I can't wait to see what he does next. You know.
Same with Bernie
Oh,
Mac. He's, these guys should really
Yeah.
be in more movies.
Like why isn't Gene Hackman do any more films? It doesn't make any sense.
I'm gonna ask that. Are they ever any crossover?
With
Um,
Bernie Mac and Gene Hackman.
yeah. So cool. What did you think of it compared to the first time you watched it, John?
Oh, I mean, I liked it way more now.
Yeah.
I can only barely remember it last time.
Uh-huh. Sick. Cool.
Same for you.
Well, I like don't, I remember I think less than like you remember of the first
Oh
time.
Uh,
shit! They were wait. Bernie Mac and Hackman were in Welcome to Mooseport together, and I totally forgot about this. Bernie Mac was
oh,
the campaign manager. So Gene's last movie, Bernie got to send him off. That's nice.
That just shows you that God has a plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
they're both hanging out in
was
heaven
that
right
Gene's
now.
last? Wait, so that was Gene's last movie, and
No, not Bernie's, but it was Gene's last movie that he did in
okay.
'04. He lived for since he just stopped doing movies in '04 and just
Are you sure Bernie Mac was in that?
yeah, he was a campaign manager. I remember this now.
cool.
That's crazy.
Great movie.
Nice.
Uh,
Yes, that was a good pick, Daniel. Good job.
Thank you.
And I think you've kind of opened the door for some real cinema now, because we've
Yeah.
been watching a lot of trash.
I don't think
That's what
that's
it's here
true.
from. because the ocean is filled with trash, and that's what our fish have to deal with because we're
Yeah, there
all
were no fish in the
usually
film. However, a
That's a
lot of
good point.
Catholicism, so it gets us on the other front. And it was in Lent, which is nice.
yeah, very
Yeah,
nice.
I would
And a
have given it a
Doberman.
5 if there was a fish in it.
yeah.
But let's go with another classic film that people love.
I'm so excited. No, he's gonna do a bait and switch. It's gonna be a joke. He's gonna say
No,
Cars.
no, it's on. We're gonna watch The Piano Teacher on HBO Max, and
I think I've seen it, but I'm not sure.
The runtime is 2 hours and 11 minutes. It's about yearning. It's a slow burn, baby. So you better get some popcorn and make sure you're
Uh,
awake for it.
Hell yeah.
oh
Okay,
my
looking forward
gosh.
to it.
And then after I go, it's back to Daniel.
Hell yeah.
Then it's back to me finally.
It's gonna be like when Trump came back after Biden. He's gonna
I
come back with a
am gonna come.
vengeance.
Everyone, I'm gonna change the world. I'm making this podcast
Well,
fantastic once again.
thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Rest
Sure.
in peace, Gene. Rest in peace.
Don't put your dog in a cage if you have Alzheimer's.